This is a WooCommerce filter for your Elementor Loop Grid built with a code snippet. And it doesn't just work for WooCommerce, you can use it for your normal WordPress posts and your custom post types too. The code for this filter is inside of the video description. Click the link, go and copy it. Make sure you're using the code snippets plugin. Paste it in, make sure you give it a title. You don't need to mess around with anything inside of this code. Okay, there is some separate CSS that you will want to modify, and I do give you an example of that. Now, why am I even bothering to build this? Because I've been a bit frustrated by a lot of filter systems out there. Some of them don't give you a lot of versatility in terms of styling. Well, some of them are quite limited in how they present, or some of them are premium. Well, this filter gives you options like having a select box. Maybe you want to have a multi-select. Maybe you want pills. Maybe you want a checkbox. Maybe you want a price slider. Maybe you want to sort your items. Maybe you just want to reset all of your filters and have individual resets per filter as well. But the big thing is that all of these are shortcodes, so you can arrange them however you want on your page. Let's just get back to what you need to do and how you use it. So you got the code snippet, you go and save and activate it. And then inside of your WordPress admin sidebar, you're going to find an option called filters. You click that, it's going to take you to this page. You get a few little instructions up here, but I'll talk you through them. And over here is where you now get to build your filters. And below all of the filters you've built, you will see. So I'm going to work through this methodically, and we're going to start off with a really simple one. What about your standard WordPress post? Most of your standard WordPress posts may have a category, but I've also added in a custom field too. So using the advanced custom fields plugin, I've got a field called region, and my slug is region as well. And it was a choice. You either had London or New York, because what I'm showing you will work with your custom fields and your custom post types and your custom taxonomies as well. So inside of this example post, and don't worry about the content, down here you will see I've got the category filled out, and down here I've completed my custom field for region, which was London or New York. Let's jump into filters. Now, I've already built this out, but I'm just going to show you what would you do from a brand new position if you were going to build this out. The first thing I'm going to do is give this a label. You can call it whatever you want. You can put a colon after, you can put a space, you can put a dash. It's entirely up to you. Now, for simplicity, I've called this category number 2 because I've actually already built it out. So I'm just going to show you another example. Then you want to select your field source. And in this scenario, we can just go for category. Now, I know you have product category and then you have category. And you might go, well, aren't they different? It doesn't really matter. So if you want to pick category, go for it. Now, bear in mind, though, the same would apply to tag. Product attribute only relates to WooCommerce products. Your brand will also be your WooCommerce brand. Your custom field, well, that will be any custom field you want. And your price, it does tell you up here, though, you can only use the price if you are using it for WooCommerce product. We're keeping it simple. We're just going to go for category. And down here in my post type, I'm now going to select post. Now, you'll notice post page, you'll notice some of these that you're always going to get when you're using Elementor Pro, but designers is a custom post type. And then I went and created another custom post type. And every time you create a custom post type, it's automatically added to the target post type. So in this scenario, I'm just going to go for post, and then I'm going to click detect. Now, if you know the value or the slug, so in our case for category, it's probably going to be just category. Just like if you had a custom post field type thing, you would know what the slug is. You can go back into advanced custom fields and get it. But if you don't know the slug, once we've picked the target post type, watch this. I hit detect, and it's now going to tell me what is available. I'm going to pick category, and it populates it for you. And now I'm going to pick, what do I want? Do I want a select box? Do I want a select pill? Do I want a multi-select? Do I want a checkbox? You can only use the price range for the price field if you're in WooCommerce. So I am, for simplicity, just going to go with the select box. You can also assign a URL key. So that means that when you are using a filter, what does it say in the URL? Then down here, maybe there are certain items you want to exclude. Maybe you've got a particular category, like I had London and New York. Maybe I don't want to have New York shown. That does not exclude it from your loop grid. This is really important. Your loop grid will show everything unless you have intentionally excluded it within the loop grid settings. You know, when you go to query, you know it can exclude. But if you don't want to see an item in the filter, you can exclude them. You can also decide how you want it to be arranged. So on the desktop, do you want horizontal or do you want vertical? On the mobile, do you want horizontal or vertical? Do you want to show the reset icon? I would say go for it, because if you've got lots of filters, I would say give the ability for someone to reset any one of them at any one time. And are you going to show the label? So if you don't want to show category 2, you could untick that. You could drop in your own heading or your own text editor, style it, position it how you want. But if you want to show it, go and show it. And then you click create new filter. And when you've done that and you scroll down, there's category 2. It would always show you your latest item at the top, whether you've updated or created a brand new one. You can edit this, and the minute you click edit, all the details will appear. And I'll prove that to you. I'll go down over here to region. We'll hit edit. Look, everything comes back through. So anytime you want to edit, you just click edit and it populates it. You want to delete it, you go and delete it. Delete it. Can't get my words out right. You want to duplicate it, you can click duplicate and it will add in a new one. And then all you have to do is click edit, because you might only want to change one minor thing. Might be a label, might be an input type. Maybe you're testing out what looks good. And then what you do is you go and click copy, and that will copy the shortcode. This is my posts page. And over here, I've got a loop grid. Now, there is something you do need to do to the loop grid. One minor little thing. And I'm sure you'll understand what I mean when I show it to you in a moment. But what you would do is you would say, drop in a shortcode widget, and then all you're going to do is paste in that shortcode. So category number 2. Now you're going to look at that label and go, I don't like the red color and the background color. You can control the styling for all of this, even the color and the hover color for the reset icon, even the size of it. Everything here you can control. So when I'm in preview now, you can see my 4 posts, you can see the category, you can even see the CF location. It should say CF region. If I now click category 2, I've just realized the category was not the region is the region, the category is the category. But if I now was to go for web design, you'll see the 2 web design ones pop up. If I go over here and I click tutorials, advanced, basic, and Elementor web design all come through, because they are children of tutorials. If I was to just go and click basic, you're only going to get one come through. And at any time, I can click reset filters and it will reset all of it. Now, let me just go back over to my filters, and I'm going to delete this because we'd already kind of built it out and I don't want to have too much. So let me now just show you that on that post page, I also had region. If we scroll down, you're going to see region here. So let me just click edit so you understand how I built that one. That was region, that was the title. The source was a custom field. And then I said that that is from the post. It's not a custom post type, that's a custom field in my standard WordPress post. And when I go over here, you can now see that region becomes visible. Now you will have some other items that might pop through, because this is my test website and I've been messing around with this so much over the years, but region is down there. And when I pick it, it now appears. But if I had not done that and I had left it as detect, I could have just gone and typed in region as I have done, because that's the slug for my custom field. And then I've decided I'm going to show this as a select pill. And then, you decide on desktop, mobile orientation, reset, show label. You don't have to have these. If you don't want them, untick them. So on the post page, we added in 2 shortcodes, but we also had the reset all. Well, over here, you need to add that shortcode. So look at it. You can change the label if you want to reset all, reset posts, whatever you want. But you copy that. And then over here, I have another shortcode, and you can see I've pasted it. Now, why is it really good and versatile? Because you can rearrange this. These are all shortcodes. You can change the width. You can make it 100%. You could stick it in another container. You could have it in a sidebar. You could have it below the loop grid, beside the loop grid, above the loop grid, wherever you want. This is so versatile in what you can do. But let me now focus on 2 key things you really, really want to make sure you do. Inside of your loop grid, you must have this query ID. WS_WC_filters. Don't make me explain it. WS for Web Squadron, WC because originally this was only going to be a WooCommerce filter builder. And then I expanded it to basically do posts, custom post types, and anywhere where you need a filter. So you must make sure you've got that in, and I'll remind you of that when we come and do the other ones. Now let me show you my other example. This looks the same, but the styling is different. And I'm going to show you what I did for the styling, because that's the other second important thing I should have showed you a moment ago. You can see here our labels are no longer red, and I can control the color of my checkboxes and everything as well. This is now using a custom post type, and both of these are custom fields. Here are my two custom post types that I create with advanced custom field. I've got designers and I've got fake. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to click add new, and I'm going to create a custom post type called awesome. I'm going to hit save changes, and we should see awesome appear over here. I'm just doing this to make a point, okay? If we go back over to our designers one, which is the one that I used for the loop grid, inside of there, if I click edit, you can see I've also got a custom taxonomy as well called office. Inside of my custom fields for the custom post type, and remember this is pointing to the designer's custom post type, I have two custom fields. One of them is qualification. This is just a text field, and the slug for it was qualification. And the second field was called office, and this was a taxonomy field that is obviously pointing to the custom taxonomy that we've built. I obviously then went into my custom post type and I created two designers, Gandalf and Bilbo Baggins, and obviously I completed the relevant fields. My filter name is going to be office. My field source is going to be custom field because we're not using the normal category tag brand fields that you normally get with either posts or WooCommerce. Here's a really good bit. Post type. I will pick designers, but do you remember I created a custom post type called awesome? Look, it's there. So if I wanted to pick it, after you've refreshed the filter page, obviously, it's there. I'm going to go for designers. Now, I could either type in qualification or office because I know what the slug is, but if I go to detect, I've got them here. You're wondering, why is location there? Because I had another field that I now deleted, but the way WordPress works is that it's probably still in the back end until you do a sweep and clean out. But if I go and pick office, it then populates it. And then I go and decide, well, what do I want to go for? Checkbox, multi-select, select pills. My recommendation is that you go and try out each one of them. Maybe pick office, create it as a select box, then go and duplicate it and change it to select pill, duplicate, duplicate. And you will get to decide on what you like. And there they are. And if I was to now go and pick Leicester, you should only see one of them pop up. If I go and do checkbox for newbie, it will still be there. I could, if I want, go and click office like that, reset it. We still only see one because I did select newbie, and you can either uncheck or reset one of them at a time, or click reset filters. The great thing about having the checkbox is you could have more than one at any one time, which is why I've got multi-select and I've got checkbox. So pick and choose what you want to go for. Now, if you are paying attention, you will notice that the labels here have a red background, but they don't on this version. Let me now explain the second most important thing you need to do. Please do remember, though, the first one, which is where you go to a loop grid, go to query, ws_wc_filters. Now, some of you might say, but what if I've got a filter on different pages? It doesn't matter. The filters only work on the page with the loop grid. So I've got 3 separate pages that I'm showing you at the moment, and they're all working independently of one another. Now, if I go onto the parent container, and it's up to you where you do this. If you want to do this in site settings, you can do, but I think it might get a little bit messy for you to manage, especially if you've got other CSS frameworks. When you go to container and go to the advanced tab and go to custom CSS, you're going to see this massive bit of code. This is split into 2 parts, the top part and the second part. You don't really need to touch the second part because a lot of the second part is controlled by what's above. These are all of your variables, and I know it looks really messy, but you change it if you want to change it. So if I go over here to typography, and I change my family to be Merriweather, can you see all of these have changed to Merriweather? If I pop it back to Montserrat, it's changed to Montserrat. I can change the size. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change this now to be 25. Can you see what it's doing? I can change the color of my text. I can change the weight of it as well. I can change my label, the background color, the weight of the label, the size of the label, the padding of the label. Is there going to be any background hover effect? Because maybe you want that on the label, which sounds a bit strange, but maybe you do. You can control the wrapping and the spacing, which becomes important when you start looking at mobile and desktop. But don't forget, these are all short code, so because it sits inside of a container, you could do your row gap, your column gap, left margin, right margin. You can rearrange it however you want. My drop-down fields are currently set to auto. So if I go to my post one over here with this category as an example, if I click this, can you see it, how big it is all? But if I go and click advanced, it grows bigger. If you want to have a set width, you can do that if you want to have a set width, or you could just leave it as auto. The color and sizing of your pills, the color and sizing of your drop downs in terms of the background color, what the hover colors are, what the active colors are, sizing, all of that you can do here. You can even do it for your pricing slider when we get onto it with the color of the pins or the slider track. Your reset button, so if you don't want to have this hover effect and you want to have a different starting color, the size of the checkbox, the color of the check mark icon, the color of the checkbox. But when you play with this, and I know some of you may have wanted a really lovely interface, and I was going to build that in, but it started to get a bit messy. You just control it here. And if I'm honest, if you can learn to start to manage this, it's just going to help you to become better at managing CSS, which I feel levels up your skill sets anyway. Now let's have a look at the big one with WooCommerce. And this is where I was a little bit more inventive. So we have a parent container, and then I have two child containers over here. I've got child container 1, which contains all of my filters. There's lots of short codes inside of there. Then I got child container number 2, and this contains just 2 short codes. It contains the reset filters short code and a brand new one that we've not shown you yet, which is a sort by. And this will allow you to sort by default, newest, low to high, and high to low. Now, if you want to expand on that, then maybe you need to take the code snippet I've given you, stick it into ChatGPT, play around with it, prompt it to fine tune it to what you want to show. But all of the styling here again is controlled by that CSS. And as a reminder, on the filter page, you do get the shortcode over here for sort by, but you can only use it for WooCommerce. Doesn't work very well with all the other posts and custom post types. Maybe something I might look at one day in the future, but you can only use it for Woo, and you must have one other filter present as well on the page. All right, you don't have to have loads, just one other filter on there, and then it will work perfectly seamless for you. Now, before I show you all of the filters, please do remember in your parent container, which is a good place to pop it, is where you want to go and stick in that CSS and then style it out. And it's unique for that particular filters that you have on this page or inside of that container. But when you go to the loop grid, and this is really, really, really important, okay? Your query ID must be WSWC filters, but I really must stress on this. If you go to layout, and you go and pick products, okay, and I go down to query, the query ID is not there. What you need to do is make sure you pick posts. And you're going to go, but it's meant to be products. Don't worry. Make sure you pick posts. Then go to query, and in your source, go and pick products. Okay, this is really, really important. You pick products, and when you do that, you'll already have the query ID. If you pick products in the layout tab, you won't have the query ID. If you pick it over here, go to query, go to products, you will see it. Okay, so wherever you're going to have a page where you've got these filters showing, please make sure you enable that. And then all I did was just create loads of different filters. And then all I did was just go through methodically picking off what I wanted. And I even added in custom fields as well, because inside of here, I had my categories. Obviously, you would build them out here. I had tags. I built them out here. I even did my brand as well. So if you wanted to pick brand, I also created attributes as well, because maybe I've got a product, like a variable product. So I created sizes, and inside of there, I got small, medium, large, because I couldn't really think, what should I put in here for my particular products? And inside of advanced custom fields, I even added in a custom field as well for the product, which you can see here. And I just called it year, and this was just a select, and you go and pick your years. So if I go to this example product at the moment, you can see I've got my category, you can see I've done my tag, consultation, you can see I've got my brand over here as well, and then further up, I've got my custom field, and then you would just pick what you want. So I've got a range of stuff in here. We're not just using your basic product category. And then this is what I did. Let's say I was going to go for category. My field source, well, I can still pick category. And by the way, if it was a tag, you would pick tag. If it was a product attribute, like my sizes, because I'm using that for my variable products, you pick product attribute. We'll come back onto that. Brand, you would pick brand. Custom field, you would pick custom field. Price, you would pick price. But let's just stay on the category. I go to detect and look at this. Look at what, oh, by the way, yeah, make sure this is product, by the way, for your post type, because you don't want to be any of these. But now I can pick these. So if I pick brand, I would pick from here. If I picked my tag, I would pick from here. If I had picked, say, product attribute, I would have gone to detect and I would have picked sizes. PA sizes. PA stands for product attribute. That is what is being used inside of... Can you see this okay on screen? I've just realized my face might be hiding it. That is what you will see, or that's what comes through WooCommerce. So you would have picked that. Shipping class, I'm not using that one at the moment. I mean, again, you could mess around and bring that through if you want, or product visibility. Anyway, I'm going to go back to category and I'm going to pick product cat, which is the category. And then you go and choose what you want to go for. If I had gone for tag, I would have gone here and picked tag. If I'd gone for brand, I would have gone here and picked my brand. If I go for custom field where we had the year, when you do that, look at all of these that appear. And this is overkill with how much gets pulled through. But there's my year. I go and pick that. That will now be my filter. And if I want to go for price, you just pick price. There is actually no need for that to be filled in. And it does tell you here, leave the field value blank. So leave price. Pick price. Make sure it's on product. Give it a relevant title. And then input type, you go and pick price range. And you'll see further down here, that's exactly what I did. So let's play around with this example. We've got 3 products. We've got 15 to 77. It automatically detects. Let's shrink this down and product 3 will disappear. I could just reset that particular one and it appears. I could even overtype as well. So let's just type in 65. And product 2 will still appear because it's a variable product. So there's a range of stuff in there that do cover the 65 starting point because our maximum is 67. Let's leave that one enabled. And I can see I've got 2023 and 2026. I'll tell you what, let's just go for 2023. One product appears. We've got WordPress Elementor. If I click Elementor, nothing's going to appear. So I could, if I want, just reset that one, or I could have just clicked it. So you can unselect as well. That is the Elementor filter builder, and I feel like it gives you so much more control over how you can arrange and build things out. And this is not in competition with any other filter system. There are some really good premium solutions out there. So anyone in the comments goes, yeah, but I prefer to use XYZ. I don't care what you like to use. Okay, this is for anyone who doesn't want to use those tools or maybe just wants to add in some bespoke filtering to their loop grids, whether it's a WooCommerce, standard post, custom post types, mixture of custom fields, however you want to build it. I'm Imran from Web Squadron. Make sure you sign up for our YouTube channel, especially if you want access to exclusive videos. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow. And if there was at any point in this video you really enjoyed or liked what I was showing, please put a comment in. And why have you not shared this across all of your social media yet? Or maybe you've got a really good reason not to do that. I'm Imran. Take care. See you soon. Bye.